G20 Western foreign ministers have reportedly scored Russia for its nearly three-year war in Ukraine. The bloc's discussions in Brazil have so far mostly focused on the conflict in Ukraine and Gaza. In a closed session, major world powers are said to have demanded accountability by Moscow for its aggression. Host Brazil, meanwhile, criticized the failure of world bodies to put an end to mounting global tensions. Brazil's top diplomat saying that the inaction of the United Nations and other institutions has resulted and continues to result in the loss of innocent lives. Indonesia echoes the sentiment. It says that the war in Gaza in particular has gone beyond a humanitarian disaster, but has evolved into a geopolitical nightmare. Ira Spitzer joins us live from Rio de Janeiro for more on this story. Ira, Brazil's top diplomat has said that the international institutions like the United Nations, that they're not working. This is a narrative that we have heard before repeatedly. What is it proposing in its place, though?
So what Brazilian officials have talked about is not an alternative to the United Nations, but rather reform of this body, which of course encompasses basically the entire world. And it is not saying that the UN should be bypassed, but simply that it is not functioning in its current form. And this is something that we've heard even from UN officials like the Secretary General Antonio Guterres, who has criticized, for example, the effectiveness of institutions like the UN Security Council. And it is that Security Council that Brazil and others really would like to see reformed in some way. There are the 5 permanent members of that Security Council: Russia, China, the United States, the UK, and France. And because of the veto power of those members, we do see this kind of inaction that Brazil's foreign minister talked about with regards to the situation in Gaza or Ukraine, for example. So what Brazilian officials have discussed are things such as expanding that Security Council to incorporate countries from Latin America, from Africa, India, for example. So that's one track to take. Another would be to expand the power of the UN General Assembly. So those are all the issues that are under discussion here, especially at today's session, which does focus on global governance and reform to the UN and other institutions.
Meantime, Ira, there have been some strong statements issued over the wars in both Gaza and Ukraine. Has the bloc had to do some balancing, though, given the presence of both the United States and Russia in these talks?
Well, reportedly from the meetings on the first day here, it was fairly tense. British Foreign Secretary David Cameron's office, for example, saying that Cameron addressed the meeting, addressing Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov, and saying that Russia must be made to pay for its aggression in Ukraine. That sentiment was reportedly echoed by other like-minded countries such as the United States or Germany. And according to Norway's foreign minister, Sergei Lavrov, the Russian foreign minister, simply presented what he called a set of alternative facts about Ukraine in response to what these other foreign ministers were saying. So that is the kind of mood that we see at the G20, given the presence of both Russia and the United States, as well as countries that are sympathetic to both those sides with regards to the Ukraine conflict. So given the tremendous divide about that, it's unlikely that we'll see any kind of major breakthrough here, but certainly it is a chance for foreign ministers to try and make their point across with those other foreign ministers directly in the room.
Ira, thank you for that update. Ira Spitzer there in Rio de Janeiro.